Hello, 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 everybody. How are you? Good to see you in today's webinar. I'm so excited you could be with me today. Sorry, I'm doing a little computer stuff here. Why is it always IT issues? No matter what, there's an IT issue. Anyway, today we have a great webinar and I'm so excited to present it today. But before we begin, my name is Michelle Osborne. I am the program coordinator for the Community Learning in Action Initiative. I am also the program development and communications liaison for the Quebec City Reading Council. So hello, if I have not met you before, and if we have met, good to see you again. So we are kind of closing up April, which was our entrepreneurial month. And today we are doing how to build a strong personal brand. And it's one of my favorite subjects because small business owners, entrepreneurs, those who want to be, often they think that branding is for big corporations or big organizations, and that is so not the case. In fact, if you are a smaller business or an entrepreneur, it's even more important that you create a really good brand that resonates with your target audience. So we're going to talk about all of that today, and I want to let you know that next week, that is next Wednesday, and I think that is May the 8th, we're going to do a Facebook Live. The Facebook Live is going to be with a lady named Tabby Nyoni, and she originates from Zimbabwe, and she has been able to successfully run her own business in Quebec. She actually lives in Montreal. She does not speak any French at all, but she's been able to successfully run her own business for over 14 years with the language barrier challenges. And she's all about strategy, branding. She calls herself the strategist, entrepreneurial strategist nerd, because that's all she does. And so she's going to join me here at 12:15, May 8th, Facebook Live session. We're going to do it remotely. Hopefully our computers will work and IT will work and everything will go smoothly. So that's going to be something really interesting for you to connect to if you're interested in branding. And then in the rest of May, we have May 7th, we have online navigation, shopping, and banking, some of the basics for digital literacy in that. And then May 21st, we're going to talk about how to maintain your computer so it stays up to date all the time, it stays clean, all of those different things. So that's what's coming up in May. But don't forget the follow-up Facebook Live next Wednesday with Tabby Nyoni. We're gonna have a really good time with that. So today's presentation, enough of that, is about how to build a strong personal brand. And this is going to be a really no fluff presentation, okay? I'm not going to have any gifts. I'm not going to have any statistics. This is a subject that's really near and dear to my heart. And because I think it's really important. And I like to talk about it, especially for those who have the language barrier challenges, who are really trying to get their business off of the ground. Just so you know, I have a big background in communications and marketing. I've worked for corporations, I've worked for the government, I've worked for a lot of not-for-profit and community organizations, which are my favorite to work for, because I love the challenge of trying to build communications and branding with little or no money. So I have a lot of background in this, and I can't wait to share some of the things that I've learned along the way. Okay, so let's pull it up. We're going to pull up the presentation here and we'll get started because we have a lot to go through. So, okay, here we go. How to build a strong personal brand. Are we ready for this one? Excellent. Let's get going. Sorry, I'm just moving stuff around here because, this video showing, that person showing, and it's kind of distracting for me. So just give me one moment so I can get this set up so I can see you all. Perfect. How to build a strong personal brand. Here we go. So today what we're going to cover is basically what is branding, in case you don't know what branding is. And we're just going to do a quick piece on the definition of that, the importance of branding, and I'm going to tell you why it's also important, as well as the biggest piece of this presentation's steps to building a strong personal brand. And I know that's why you're all here for. So basically, what is branding? Branding is basically when a company or an organization creates a symbol or design that is easy for everyone to identify with, of course. So it distinguishes you from all of the other competitors out there. You want to make your brand memorable. We're going to talk about that. And it should be a true representation of who you are. So it's got to be authentic. Just don't create something that's pretty and you're like, ooh, this is pretty. When someone looks at your brand, you should be able to tell them why it looks the way it is and why the way it is, okay? And that is a big mistake that a lot of people make. A lot of people make a brand and they say, oh, I did this because it looks pretty. And I'm just like, no, you don't create a brand because it looks pretty. You have to really create it so it can be identifiable for everybody, especially your target audience, right? You might have some people come up to you and say, why did you choose the brand that you choose? Why did you create this symbol? And if you don't know how to answer that question, you did not create your brand appropriately. And you really have to be able to say, this looks like this because we chose these colors, because we chose this font, because, and it doesn't have to be a complicated answer, but you should know why, okay? And essentially, it's your professional profile and people are going to see that right away. So if we look at I just pulled some iconic brands that I pulled up here for you. We have Apple, we have IKEA, we have Google, we have Adidas, hugely successful brands. Why are these brands successful? One of the biggest things is that they are simple. Okay, one of the things, especially for smaller organizations or entrepreneurs, they like to create these complicated symbols with so much colors and so much mess. And that is actually the opposite of what you want to do. You want to create something as simple as possible that people will identify with, and you have to be consistent with it. I'm going to say that again. Be consistent with it, because sometimes people want to change up their logo and do something different and put it up. No, you create a brand, you create a logo, and you are consistent with it at all the times. Now, that is not to say that every, 10 or 15 or 20 years, some of these brands modify them or change them. But what they will always do is, if they do change it, they are consistent with it for a considerable amount of years, because they want to make sure that you know who they are. So when you are creating a brand, make sure, first of all, it's authentic to who you are. It is simple, and make sure you are going to look at that and say, yes, I can live with this for the next 10 years, because this is, like I always say, it is a marathon. It is not a sprint when you're building a business. So if you're looking to see success and lots of money and things in the first year, then you're in the wrong business. That's not what entrepreneurship is. That's not what owning a business is. And so these organizations have successfully created brands and have been consistent with them, where people trust them and know them, and they keep them simple. They put them everywhere. They don't change them. And one thing I want to mention too is that we're living in a world where we have so many things that are accessible and free to us, like creative platforms like Canva. Do you know Canva? If you don't know Canva, you need to Google it right now. Canva.com, Canva.com. Everywhere where you can build things that are creative and for free. Oh my gosh, I wish I could be a marketer for Canva, because it's amazing, 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 okay? I used to work for an entertainment organization, and we used to spend millions of dollars on marketing. And even just for the symbol, we would pay into the $500,000 for the symbol. You don't even want to know how much Apple paid for this little black apple that you might think is simple. But for them, this is their brand and they put it everywhere, and that's what makes them a lot of money. So if you can invest in a graphic designer to create something for you, perfect. If you can't, there's free tools like canva.com that can help you create something, okay? Keep it simple. Always the KISS method when you are doing your logo or your branding. Stop thinking complicated. And one of the things about smaller organizations, not-for-profit organizations, community organizations, they like to build these really complicated and elaborate symbols to try and express who they are. It's not about that. You want to be authentic, but you also want to be simple so that if somebody sees it, they get who you are and they understand what you're doing. So every time you create something, keep that in mind. So why should you brand? Basically, it's how you get organized. How are going to people know or recognize that this is you if you don't build a great brand? It increases your business value, absolutely, for sure, because people start to recognize you, and this is a way of trust. Knowing that you put money and time into something to create something that says who you are, people find you more professional, and it brings you more validity to your business. So really, really think about that. It creates trust within the marketplace because people want to see that you've put time and money into creating and building a real business. And of course, it supports your company advertising, because when you have to advertise for different things, you're going to want to have a symbol that people look to say, yes, this is my jewelry business, or this is my consulting business. And this does not go just for products. It also goes for services. Learn how to brand yourself appropriately. Oh my gosh, this is a good subject. We're going to get into how to brand yourself appropriately, not even just with logos and colors, but yourself personally, how you present yourself and how you look. It's really important. So why should you brand? Let's take a look, just like a couple of these percentages here. Why should you brand? 80% saying the color increases brand recognition up to 80%. That's a big deal. So when you are choosing colors for your brand, make sure it's a true representation of you. You can Google the color wheel and it will say what colors represent what kind of feelings or evoke what type of emotions. For example, if you choose green for your logo, it means money. So I encourage you to Google what colors evoke what feelings, so you can see if they are a good representation of your brand, okay? 60% expect consistency with their experiences. Consistency is key, everybody. I think this is one of the areas that I like to emphasize the most, because a lot of people are excited when they start their own business and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna get into it, but they are not consistent with it. It's an everyday, consistent thing, consistent learning, consistent engagement with your customers, and it can be a lot of work. So if you are prepared to put the time in, you can be successful. 54% of people don't trust brands because of broken promises. That's a given. And 64% is all about values. And you have to know what your values are when you are creating your brand. And we're going to get into that in the another slide. Okay. So here we are for the meat of it all. Steps to building a strong personal brand. First and foremost, don't wait for perfect. The amount of times I talk to people, they're like, well, you know, this isn't right, or I don't have time to do this, and you know, my logo is. Don't wait for perfect when you are building your business, okay? Because it is going to be an ever-evolving project where you are going to change things frequently, especially at the beginning, because you're still trying to figure things out. So what you want to do is start. And as you go along the way and as you are learning, you can change things. Don't worry about it. But I really suggest you invest the time, and if you have it, a little bit of money to create a really good logo or brand. Do what you can with what you have. And I tell people this all the time, especially bloggers and, people who want to get into YouTube and different social media things, because that's the hype right now, right? I don't have a camera. I don't have good photography. I don't know how to build a website. There are ways you can start and with $0. Okay? You can start a website for $0. You will not get the best domain name, of course, but you have to start with what you have. And then as your business grows, you build on it. Do your homework, do your homework, do your homework. I do homework every day of my life, even if it's only 30 minutes to learn something about my work or what I do. It could be watching a video. It could be following certain people on Instagram to see what new things are coming out. But make sure you are putting learning into your schedule, especially when it comes to your brand, because there are so many people out there, so many competitors who are doing what you are doing. Let me say something. Do not think that if you build it, people will automatically come because you think it's great. Because you think your jewelry is great, because you think my service is wonderful. Why wouldn't people come? Business does not work that way, okay? You might think it's great, but there are millions of people on this planet who could be doing the same thing, who could be searching for different types of things, and you have to get out there and market yourself. Don't just put it online and think people will come, because they won't. I'm telling you. And make sure you schedule time to plan. Okay, we're also busy doing our business and Make sure that at least once a week you are putting in your schedule, okay, Sunday morning is my planning day. How am I going to schedule my marketing? How am I going to schedule my communications plan? What am I going to do for my social media this week? You should be blocking off time in your calendar every week to do planning and not just administration for your work or posting stuff. You really got to make sure that is part of your plan. Okay, what are your existing brand assets? Okay, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. What do you already have now that can be an asset to your business? So you look at your skills and your credentials. What have you acquired? What are your certifications? What are your awards? And all of these things you should be putting on your social media or your website so people look at what you have done. What are your passions and your interests? What are you most interested in? What are you most passionate about? You have to be passionate about what you do, and it can't just be about the money, or you'll never, ever make it. Passion wins over money all the time. I can't stress that enough. What are your core values and beliefs? And a lot of people don't sit and think about this before they start a business. So what are some of your most important core values? What do you believe in? What do you stand for? What do you stand against? So all of this stuff, everybody, I want this to be your homework, because this is the non-sexy stuff, right? This is the stuff that you don't want to do, that you don't think of. All you want to do is the pretty stuff. You want to build a website, you want to put colors on it, and you want to go on social media and talk about yourself. This stuff is the crucial stuff that will separate those who are successful and unsuccessful. So take all of these points and do them for homework, please. I beg you, I beg you. Identify the key elements of your brand. So what is your brand vision? What do you want to be known for? And every person who has a product or service wants to be known for something. That is a big question. Ask yourself, do this for homework. I beg you, please. What do you want to be known for? What is your brand vision? Why do you want to build this brand? What is the purpose of doing it? You might think, oh, I'm only selling jewelry. There's no real purpose. There's always a purpose. Okay, so you need to ask yourself these things, because you will not be successful if you don't know what they are, especially when you are networking with people and you want to market yourself and you have your elevator pitch. And I talked about that in one of my past presentations. And if you want to know more, just send me an email. I can tell you more about that. These are the things you need to know. Okay, absolutely. Your brand message. What do you want to communicate to your audience? What do you consistently want to say in your content and your marketing? Consistency, everybody. Every time you do your content and your marketing, what is it you are trying to say to people? And what is your brand personality? Are you a conservative person? Are you a jokester? Do you swear? Are you fun? These are the things you have to think about when you are branding. So it's not even just about what's on the logo and the colors and the font. It's about yourself. Listen, and I'm going to talk more about this, okay? When you are branding yourself, perhaps you have a certain brand color. So for example, we're looking at this presentation. You will always see consistency in my presentation, in my layouts, right? We have my logo, we have the two colors of mustard and gray. These are colors and fonts and everything that we have chosen to brand this project. You can even take it to another level. So every time you come on and you want to talk about your project or talk to people, that yellow, you have a yellow scarf on. You will always be known for your yellow scarf, because that yellow represents you and your brand. Or you will always have a gray shirt on, because that gray represents you and your brand. Make sure that when you are on your social media outlets that you look like your brand, that you are representing your brand all the time. Are you know what? A lot of people don't think, I can look anyway. Look like your brand, okay? Remember that every time you are representing yourself, okay? Who is your target audience? Oh, I can talk about this all day, everybody. Target audience. If you don't know who they are, you cannot run a business well, okay? And target audience is tough, especially when you're starting. What is their age? What is their gender? What is their education? What is their relationship status, their income, their profession? Who are you selling to? Okay, you need to know these things before you get started. And if you don't know these things before you get started, that is okay too. You have to know something though. And then you learn along the way as you get to know your target audience. Maybe you think it's one, and then all of a sudden you're just like, hold on, I'm not selling to that person at all. But these are things that you learn along the way, okay? What are your pain points and their challenges? What are they struggling with? What are they preventing to achieve their goals? What are their desires for the future? What are their aspirations? And you're saying to Michelle, how the hell do I figure all this out, okay? One of the things about owning your own business and branding is that if you don't understand who your target audience is, it's hard to brand, period. Because if you choose a color we'll go back to the color green, that stands for money. It can also stand for ecological things. And you are marketing to, kids that like the color pink. Why is your green in your logo? You really have to think about that. Why is your font the way it is if you're marketing to kids? So really know about their occupations, their hobbies, their genders, their values. Where are they located? How do they want to be reached? Do they want to be reached on Instagram? Do they want to be reached on Facebook? Okay, on the next slide, I'm going to show you how you figure that out. So how do you find your target audience? And I talk about this in my social media presentation, and it's really important when you're developing a brand, because your target audience is a big part of that. So how do I find my target audience? Of course, I always say, check out your competitors, go on their Facebook, join their Facebook page, join their Instagram page, join their YouTube page. to see who their clients are, because whoever your competitors are, the clients for those competitors are also your clients. So you want to see how they are marketing to your clients, and you are going to do the same thing. Absolutely, you are. Look at your current customer database, see where they live, see what their genders are, see what their age group are, take note of it. It's really important. Look, join other like-minded groups. And I tell people this all the time. I give Facebook as an example. If you are, for example, I do blogging, and I am on a number of blogging groups on Facebook. And the first thing I do when I join the group is say, hi, my name is Michelle. It's great to be in this group. I just found you. My blog is this, and I talk about this. I would really love to connect with some of you, and I am so happy to be in this group to get to network and to learn more. You never just join a group by hitting join group and then think that people are gonna know, especially if the group has, like, you know, 1,000, 2,000, even 500 people. You go in and you introduce yourself to who you are, and then people, funny enough, will start to follow you, and it'll pass on. Trust me, just trust me on this one. Engage and collaborate with others, of course. You know, one of the things that I've noticed is that when I join certain groups, there are people who are like, hey, Michelle, I didn't know that this blog was out there. If you join my blog, I will join your blog, or I will join your IG page, or I will join your Facebook page, because you don't realize who out there who wants to collaborate and do stuff with you. And a lot of people are in the same boat as you, trying to figure it out. And everyone started somewhere. Everyone started new. So everyone is also trying to figure out what you're trying to figure out. And trial and error. Like I said, sometimes you get it right at the beginning, but most of the times you don't. When you're first starting out, you're trying to figure out all these little pieces. And one of the things is networking can be hard for some people, and some people don't like it. What did I say before? You gotta have two things. You either get over it or you hire somebody, because you have to network in order to build your business. Point blank. Trial and error, that's what's gonna happen, but that's what happens in every business. More people fail than they do succeed. And you're gonna fail 1,000 times and succeed 1 time. That's just how business works. And the sooner you realize that, the better off you'll be. Okay, next step, you're gonna create your own website, of course, and you can do this in a different way. You have to have your own domain for your website, of course, and a lot of times people say it's really great to use your personal name for your website, so then people will always remember you, which I totally agree with. But you can also have a website that has a domain name that has not your name in it. However, if you create a website that says, let's say, jewelry for everybody, let's just say that. That is not my name. My name is Michelle Osborne. I encourage everybody to purchase their personal name for the domain, even if you don't use it, okay? Because you don't know what's going to happen in the future. Maybe your business changes, but everybody should have their own name purchased for future use. It would really, really suck if you all of a sudden one day you want to use your name and someone else has the same name as you, and now you can't use your same name. So on every platform, I want you to save your personal name on a website domain, on a Facebook, on an IG, save it, save it, save it, so nobody else can take it. Ensure you have a professional logo. Like I said, if you have money to spend on a professional logo with a graphic designer, go for it. If you don't, Canva is your best friend. That is canva.com, where you can get a whole bunch of graphic design stuff for free. And it's so easy. Like, really, really, it is so easy. It has everything planned out for you. You type in the search engine, Facebook post, and it has all the measurements for you and tons of different examples. I love Canva. Use professional pictures as much as possible. Yes, I get it. In fact, let me tell you something. Most people, even really successful YouTubers or bloggers or IG people, still take their own pictures. They just went out and bought a camera. And they have their husband taking pictures for them, and they have their friends taking pictures for them, and they have their neighbor taking pictures for them. So don't think that all of these people have these professional photographers walking around with them everywhere they go, because 99% of the time they don't. First of all, who has the money for that? And that is not a thing. Although, think about it, that could be a big, good business adventure, being the walking around social media person who just takes pictures of people. Okay, so try to get a good camera. And if you can't get a good camera, use your camera phone and learn how to use online picture editing tools. There's so many free ones out there. I will send them to you if you don't have them or if you don't know of any, and you can start using them. This is all about training yourself. Like I said, every day you should spend at least 30 minutes learning something about your business. Display who you are and you can help them grow on your website. And I'm gonna show a little example of this, because some websites people make complicated as well. They put too many colors, they have all kinds of different fonts, and they try to make it fancy and think that, no, people like really simple websites. A really good website that's simple is Apple. Go to the Apple website. It's a white page with words, and the graphics are great. They have great pictures on them, but you will notice their website is clean, simple, easy to navigate. This is what I want to know. And that's what people want to see. The more complicated and more full of colors and different types of font on your website, people are gonna go the other way. And include testimonials. Oh my God, people want to see what you have done and how you have helped people. Include that on your website. Otherwise, they're just taking your word for it. When you say, I'm great and I've helped 100 people, and some people will be like, okay, yeah, who? Tell me. Examples. People like testimonials. So if you have any, put them on your website. Make sure you have a clear call to action on your website. Join my mailing list. Sign up here. Register now. That should be on the front page of your website. Apply for a consultation. Go here for 10% off. That's what a call to action is. And a lot of people forget to put that. And that is what you want to have on your website. Don't forget that you don't own what is on your social media platforms. Okay, so when you sign up for Instagram or Facebook or something like that, you don't own that, but you own your domain. So that's why it's really important to have a website and not just social media platforms. Make sure you have an About Us page, and if you Google a great About Us page, there's so many great examples. Highlight your product or service, include content and free resources. So always have something that your clients can take away, even if it's a product, okay? And of course, a contact page is essential. And so here's a really great example of a good beginner page on a website. And this is a pro blogger, and this man has gone from 0 to 1,000 because he's doing everything right. You see in the top left, he's got his professional logo done. He got his professional photo done. It's on the front. He talks about value proposition. He has his call to action there where it says subscribe or tell me more. He has free content or resources in the top. Free, free, free. Are you hearing me? Let me tell you something. A lot of people are like, why would I give anything away for free? Free makes people come back for more, which makes people want to pay for you, because then you establish yourself as a professional and they keep coming back. And I want you to take a look at the top menu. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 menu items, okay? That is like your max of what you should have. Sometimes I see people with 10 menu items, and on the drop down they have 5. When I tell you, keep it simple. People like to know where to go, how to get there as quickly as possible. I would say 7 or less menu items at the top maximum. And you don't even need drop downs. You really don't need drop downs. So unless you're doing a big clothing store or something like that, think about that when you're doing your website. This guy is doing it right. So you want to also create a content strategy, okay? What is a content strategy? It helps to tell your audience what you're going to offer. So are you going to do text? Are you going to do videos? Are you going to do podcasts? Are you going to do online courses? Are you going to do guides? What are you going to do to share information with your audience? So if you're developing a product, for example, maybe you're going to do little mini videos on how you make your piece of jewelry, how you sew, how you whatever. Maybe you're going to do a little webinar for your clients and then post it on your website. If you are a consultant, these are, oh my gosh, consultants, there's so many ways as a consultant. Maybe there's a specific topic you are going to talk about. Maybe you're going to develop a free template for your clients or your audience that they can get off your website. So all of these different things are content types that you can use to help share with your audience. Now we have the content medium. So are you going to use YouTube's or social media? Are you going to use email? And really, you know, if you're a small business, I would say 2 or 3 max of these, because, you know, managing your communications and your social media is a big job that people really don't get. And what happens is a lot of people sign up for all of these different social medias and mediums to share their content, and they get discouraged because there's so much to manage, and then they stop. So just go on, even 1 or 2 is perfect. And as your business grows, and maybe you will hire an assistant to take care of that, it's a big job. So make sure you're smart with that. Just know where your audience is so that you choose the most appropriate content medium to display your work. Okay, so know who they are and what they like. Okay, create an irresistible formula. And what is an irresistible formula? An offer that your clients are willing to pay for. It's something that you love to do, that you do best, but that your audience always wants most. You know, one of the things I talk about when starting a business is one of the great ways to be successful at starting a business is to make sure you have a niche. What is your niche? Do not make it hugely broad, okay? Make sure that you select something. For example, if you're a graphic designer and you put I'm a graphic designer, that's nice. But I make really great designs. That's nice. There's a lot of graphic designers who really make big designs. Or you could be a graphic designer that specializes in helping not-for-profits grow on little money. That's a niche. You've narrowed it down so you have a following of people that are really interested in what you are doing. You cannot be everything to everybody. And a lot of people think that if they market to everybody, that's where they're going to get the money and be successful. And in fact, it's opposite, okay? If you create a niche, that's when you're going to get loyal people who are willing to pay for what you have to offer. And if someone doesn't like what you have to offer, that's okay. It just means that they're not your audience, and that's okay, okay? So make sure that the value you give to your clients, are you charging them for it? And if you're charging them for it, there's gotta be value, okay? So make sure you learn how to create an irresistible offer. And part of that is doing free stuff. You know, when someone comes online and say they're purchasing a piece of clothing or jewelry or furniture, whatever your business is, what are you gonna give to them as value? Maybe when they come online, their first offer, you're going to give them 20% off. Maybe if you're a consultant and someone wants to know about your services, okay, you're going to give them a 20-minute phone call for free. Because after that, you establish yourself as a professional, and then later on, they're willing to pay for your service. That's what this is all about, okay? Do you have a visibility strategy? A lot of people don't think about this. Interviews. Are you going to be doing interviews? Are you going to do guest blogging? Are you going to do public speaking? Are you going to build partnerships or joint ventures? And usually a combination of all of these four things really works really well. Know what you're good at. If you're great at public speaking, find different ways to be able to talk about what you do. And when you're networking, let people know, yeah, I public speak often on this subject. Or you say to them, if you know anybody, or if you want to do a project together, let's talk about how we can collaborate. People are always willing, because guess what? A lot of people don't want to put themselves out there and say, oh, I don't want to ask him, he's going to think I'm stupid. 99% of the time, they want to do the same thing to you. So they are so happy that you've said, let's collaborate. They're like, oh God, thank God, I wanted to ask her too. Most of the time, they want to do the same thing as you. So make sure you have a visibility strategy. How are you going to get out there and show your stuff? A lot of people don't think about that. Oh, digital footprint. Here we are again. Yes, I know. Make sure you audit your digital footprint when you do your branding. People, don't put anything out there that you would not want to see on a billboard, because you cannot delete it or erase it. When you are building a brand about yourself, and maybe you posted something inappropriate, I don't know, 2 years ago, it's still out there in Google land. And then someone's doing a Google search on you and they find you in your sexy lingerie with somebody because you didn't do your digital footprint audit to try and erase it. Remember, it's there. Clean it up. Clean it up, okay? Make sure you update your bios on all your social media platforms. This is all about branding. People are just like, this has nothing. This is everything to do with branding, okay? Everything to do with branding. Make sure your social media platforms, they're all consistent. So if you have your picture with your curly hair on IG, Instagram, make sure you have your picture with your curly hair on Facebook so people know who you are. And make sure they're updated pictures. Don't put a picture of you from 1974, please, because then people are going to be like, that's not you. I don't even know who I'm supposed to be talking about. Make sure you always have updated pictures. Make sure you're put together in your pictures, and make sure you're representing your brand in your pictures, okay? Online messaging and social media posts, are they relevant? Okay, let me tell you something. When you are posting things in your social media about your business, it's a part of your brand. So make sure that whatever you're posting is relevant to whatever you are branding about. Okay, a lot of people like to see personal stuff. A lot of people like emotion, right? So if you're working on a project and it's tough for you, get on there and say, hi everybody, good to see you today. Show a picture of a project that you're working on and say, it's been a difficult day. I'm working on this template for you, but this is what I love to do. A lot of people love to say personal stuff and how you are getting along in your business. They like to know why you do what you're doing. So popping in once in a while just to say hi is really important. One of the things I want to say about social media right now is that the social media stories and stories, live stories, those are the things that you see when people are doing little live snippets and stuff, are almost more important now than the stagnant pictures that people are posting. Okay, so even if you pop on for like a little thing in a little time in the morning to say, hey everybody, I hope you're having a great day, they're really, really important. I encourage you to Google storytelling on social media and learn how to do it and how to do it well. That will take you from zero to a different level in terms of branding and marketing yourself, okay? And don't, of course, I said this earlier, don't post anything that you wouldn't put on a billboard, because people are gonna find you out, okay? Final thoughts, focus on quality and consistency. Those are the big things. Just don't put a whole bunch of stuff out there and think, I just gotta put a whole bunch of stuff out there. Make sure it's quality and make sure your brand is consistent. Stop making 1,000 different logos for your brand. Stick with the one. If you're doing a presentation, make sure it's on your presentation so people know who you are. If you have it on a shirt, put it on your shirt. If you're wearing a certain color, make sure you want your yellow scarf because you got yellow in your branding. Even better, okay? So remember that every time you are building something, be authentic, be yourself. One of the biggest things I've learned in marketing and in communications is that when you are trying to be someone else or copy somebody else, it never works. Never, 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 never. Be authentic, no matter if you think people are gonna like you or not, because no matter what, you always have an audience, regardless. Don't forget about little things, your fonts, your colors, make sure they're clean, make sure they're simple. Don't forget about white space on your website pages. What is white space? That means making sure you've got spacing in between your paragraphs so it's not all squished together and it looks like, no, you don't want that. Make sure you got white space. So don't forget about those things. Harness your superpowers. What are your strengths? If you're great at networking, make sure you go out there and you network your butt off. If you're great at picture taking, make sure that is shown in your IG. So one of the good examples I like to use about this is the owner of Virgin Mobile, and why is his name skipping me right now? He is dyslexic, and nobody knew this. This guy is a gazillionaire, and so he hired people to do certain readings and writings for him because he couldn't do it himself. So make sure you harness what you're good at and give the rest to somebody else if you can, okay? Network, network, network. You know how I feel about this. You got to do it. Sometimes we hate it. If you don't do it, hire someone else to do it. Post value rather than posting all the time. That's what I said, quality and consistency. Don't just post, 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 post. Make sure it's quality stuff. You know, stop looking at numbers. Okay, a lot of people are just like, oh my God, I only have 250 followers. I only got 20 likes today, blah, blah, blah. Stop looking at the numbers and see who is consistently following you, because there are going to be people who are going to jump off of your social medias and stuff like that all the time. But you want to have that few who are actually staying with you, who are actually going to pay for your services. Respond to people's comments in a timely manner. Oh, people expect that if they have a question that you're going to respond. Usually the timing now is within 4 to 8 hours. If you can't do that, make sure it's at least 24 hours. Even if they're just saying, love your work, say thank you. Don't ignore it. The more personal you are, the more people will stay, guaranteed, or your money back. Use testimonials, or otherwise people will just have to take your word for it. And most of the time they don't take your word for it. So if you can get testimonials for someone that you've done work for, make sure you add them to your website. Know your strengths and your weaknesses and focus on your strengths, of course, and know who your competitors are and follow them. This is all about branding. You might not think it is, but when you know who your competitors are, you know how to market properly, and you know what is right for your brand. So that's it. That's all I have for you today. But if you want this presentation because you didn't get it all, you can get it from me. All you gotta do is email me at michelle_osborne@qcrc.org. I will send you the PDF for free. This is also online at qcrc.org or communitylearninginAction.org. By the end of this week, this whole presentation will be online. If you wanna share it with someone, if you forgot something, if you're like, what the heck did she say in that section, it will be there. But thank you, everybody, for joining me today. I appreciate you. I hope you learned something new, right? At least one thing. If we did learn one thing new, then we're good to go. Remember, branding is so important, especially for us little guys, because we want to be known. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, call me, anything. Otherwise, have a superb day. Bye-bye.